The content in this magazine could contain references of topics and difficult subject matter that may be triggering. Please honor yourself, inner knowing, and proceed with whatever help or guidance you feel is intuitively aligned. Welcome to Sovereign Magazine Podcast. I'm Nicole George, CEO and founder of Sovereign. I'm so happy you are here. We are the magazine podcast and community guiding 5 million women to their sovereign selves. From heart-led conversations to magical meditations, our inspiring guests will show you how they can help you step into your sovereign self. Are you ready to listen to your inner voice and step into your power? Then keep listening to hear all of the intuitive messages meant for you today. Hello! Today I have the privilege of connecting with Cass from Cassandra Freya, one of our amazing contributors. She is the dynamic blend of a corporate leader and intuitive guide, seamlessly balancing boardroom strategies with spiritual insight. As a numerologist and intuitive channel, she integrates her gifts into all aspects of not only her life, but her business and her psychic circles. She values faith and humor while empowering others to face their fears and embrace authenticity. And her mission is to guide people just like you towards self-liberation through awareness, self-forgiveness, while helping others to truly find freedom within themselves. Welcome, Cass.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited for you to be here today. We're going to be doing so many fun things. So definitely stick around for our special segment, Steps to Your Sovereign Self. In your powerful article, Motherhood, Mediumship, and Mastering Numbers, you take us on a really deep personal journey about your struggle with the fear of criticism while you were learning to embrace your spiritual gifts and stepping into your true purpose in life. And for me, what really stood out in your article is how all three of those things became the catalyst for your transformation. And so, for anyone who hasn't had the chance yet to read your article, why don't we give them a little bit of background about what that story and journey looked like?
Yeah, I think everyone's fears sort of learned, and so mine started way back. I mean, let's talk about high school, right? Body image issues. I was a track and field athlete, and a lot of times athletics demand a certain, or what we're told demand a certain body type. And so fear of disappointing my coaches, fear of disappointing other people all sort of played into the critique of, am I fast enough? Am I strong enough? Do I have the right body type? All of those different things. And that has sort of been like a constant in my life that I've had to heal, right? So from that fear, then all of a sudden it was, oh dear, these psychic gifts are like demanding that I show up every single day. And we talk about, hitting the button and posting the thing that's going to just blow open the truth and the fear that sits behind that, and really coming to terms with, when I birthed my daughter, like, you're going to be afraid of a lot of different things now, but guess what? You get called up to do it anyway. And so I think, in a nutshell, that's kind of been the path, is consistently in my life. And we'll touch on this in a little bit, but numerology is what calls me up. And I have a lot of potential for fear and working through the unknown in my life. It's kind of the path I've chosen, if you will.
Yeah, fear is such a big word for me. I could go on about it all day, all night. It's just something that is just constantly there for me, just nagging me in the background. In your article, you kind of talk about the fear of criticism as being like a life sentence. But like you said, it keeps showing up in your life and helps shaping your choices. How do you use energetics and numerology as these tools for healing that fear of criticism or something else?
Nicole, I think A big part of my work, especially through numerology and now the energetic leadership mapping that I'm starting to do, is helping women, I mean all leaders and all individuals, but really my base is women, understand the deeper patterns driving their fears. So because of the fear of criticism, it exists and it doesn't just show up out of nowhere. It's often coded into how we've learned to seek safety, approval, and belonging. And so through numerology, I can help women and myself selfishly see that we've all been calling fear something instead of actually looking at it as our power that we haven't yet learned to trust. And so when you or I understand our chart, we can stop asking, oh, what if I mess this up? And what are the repercussions of that? And start asking, what if I'm meant to actually lead like this? Lead in my life, lead in corporate, lead wherever, right? And so it's not about toughening up, which is what we often hear. And that's the dynamic we often hear. It's really about remembering who we are and who we were before the world taught us to shrink. And that's where liberation really comes.
You're talking about a constructed reality, huh? Things that were given, stories that were given. Wow, that is a topic I love to talk about because, magically I turned 40 and then, the whole world broke loose and I started to realize she's laughing so hard. Started to realize
I'm trying to laugh quietly.
my constructed reality just kind of broke open and I was like, who the hell is that person over there? Oh my goodness. I have some exciting news because in our segment, Steps to Your Sovereign Self, Cass is actually going to walk us through some exercises on how we can actually not only just pinpoint these fears, but determine if they're yours and where they came from. So, if you are ready to kind of like go to that next level of figuring out who you are, where your fears lie, which I sure am, and I'm going to be doing this after this segment, go get a pen, pencil, journal, notebook, whatever you need, your phone, set the mood, light a candle, do whatever you need to do to really get in the mindset of thinking about some fears that you might want to explore and decide where they're coming from because she's going to take you on a little bit of an exercise here because in Steps to Your Sovereign Self, we always want to be showing you what our guests can do to help you instead of just telling you. So get ready. All right, Cass, take it away.
All right, I'm actually looking through these questions and seeing which one we should start with. I think one of the most potent questions in this list is, what if the fear of being criticized was just an invitation to trust myself more deeply?
Ooh. Trust is a big one because how many of us have learned to not trust ourselves, right? We've been told that we can't trust ourselves or our intuition. Great one.
Yeah, I think this question also helps to, like, as you're answering this, think about visualizing what would happen if the fear led to something positive. Like visualizing what positive outcomes could actually happen if you trusted yourself more in this moment and did the thing that caused that fear. One of the ways that I really, really help folks is with that. It's actually the six energy, and it's our vision, it's our client, it's that third eye type of placement. So anywhere you can sort of take your fear, but then visualize, not if it's doomsday. If it's doomsday, then visualize the opposite, but the positive opposite. Think about the contrast there. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're writing this down. Next one, I would say, what do I believe will happen if I'm fully seen in my power? For a lot of women, this might be just saying the word no to things that don't feel aligned. Hint, hint. And then, is that fear actually mine? So, again, what do I believe will happen if I'm fully seen in my power? And is that fear actually mine?
So you're suggesting if somebody actually said no when it was a no, and yes when it's a yes, what that would feel like in their body, and is that feeling theirs?
Correct. I think a lot of times, and I'm not sure I actually wrote this down, but a really good exercise that I do when I'm really, really fearful of something is I say, am I looking at past patterns and beliefs or narratives that have happened in my life that have created this fear and keep me stuck in actually moving forward? Because oftentimes, rewriting the narrative is exactly what we need to do. Just because past things have happened doesn't mean that that's going to persist.
I love that because I'm the what if person. My husband keeps saying, but what if it doesn't happen? And I'm like, shut up. because,
Right. Well,
because in my mind, it's going to.
right. Or, okay, what if it does happen and it happens in a way that you couldn't even believe, then ripple effects into this beautiful chaos that needed to happen in order for you to achieve something that you didn't even realize was you were capable of.
Yes, yes. Beautiful chaos. I love that because I have learned to embrace chaos now. I don't fear chaos because guess what? I look at chaos as clearing a pathway for me to see something that I couldn't see before.
Yeah, I think I actually wrote about this for my cousin's wedding reception speech. I was a bridesmaid and I wrote about the in-between spaces, and that's where the magic happens. And so sometimes even in those moments, I'm, like, not going off this journal prompt list at all, but sometimes I'll say to myself, "Is this an in-between space, and I just need to hold steady and in alignment and in my truth?" So maybe that's a question sometimes you need to ask yourself. Am I just in an in-between space and magic is happening and I just can't see it, but I need to trust myself that it is?
I
Might
call
be worthwhile.
I call the in-between space the holding pen, where I'm like being asked to be held like in a pen and just like surrendering to the unknown, and it's so uncomfortable and dirty. I always think of like a pig in there and then you're like all muddy and gross and disgusting. That's what I think of it. But then when you come out, she's laughing so hard. But then when you come out, you're like this beautiful butterfly.
Well, and maybe the mud was just exfoliating, Nicole. I mean, we can totally translate this in a multitude of different
We
ways.
can. I love this. We're having so much fun. Okay, what's the next journal prompt?
Let's see. What kind of leader, whether it's in your life or at work, wherever, whatever situation, what kind of leader would I become if I stopped waiting to be chosen and started choosing myself?
Ooh, that's really good. Because my
That one kind of gave me, I was emotional reading that. So I know I need to do that one after this.
Yeah, because oftentimes we're told we have to be this type of person or get this type of job or make this amount of money, right? And when we're chosen, then we feel like we've made it. Ooh, that's a
Yeah.
good one.
Well, and there's a potential here too. You talk about maybe write about what type of leader you would be if you chose the situation instead of waiting to be chosen, but also how you might navigate other people's reaction to you choosing yourself because a lot of times that's what holds us back. And so preparing and using journal prompts like this in order to prepare for those moments of maybe jealousy. Maybe it's perceived criticism. Maybe it's insecurity on that other person's part, but recognizing that choosing yourself is exactly what you were meant to do this entire time,
I
this whole life.
love this. Love this. Okay, what's one more before we have to go?
Um, where do I over deliver to avoid being misunderstood? And what would change if I let my presence speak for itself? Eek.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was a good one to end with.
It
I'm going
is.
all through. I wasn't following order at all.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. Okay. Well, yeah, we know you have some more. I'm going to make sure you send the rest to us so we can pop them in the show notes for those who are just loving her journal prompts here. So, for anybody who wants to connect directly with Cass, she's in our community. Don't you worry, you can connect directly with her, community.sovereign-magazine.com. All of her details are in our show notes. She's magical. She'll be back with us, so don't worry. We are so lucky to have her and her wisdom in our world. She is incredible. This has been so fun, and I cannot wait for the next one.
Thank you so much for having me. It really has been fun.
Okay, see you on the next one. Much love. See you. Thanks for listening. I'll be back tomorrow with another soul-led entrepreneur here to help you step into your sovereign self. Subscribe to our magazine and podcast and join our global community for all the magic. Details to connect with today's guest or join the movement are in the show notes. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review. It helps us reach our goal of guiding 5 million women to self-sovereignty.